Alrighty, looks like we are live, right on time. We got a few people here watching the webinar this week. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Good to see you guys. I'm George. I'm a co-founder of SoloSuit, and today I'm going to show you some of the basics on how to resolve your debt lawsuit. Alright, so there we go. So I'm just going to go over some of the basic ideas here. And then we're going to reserve most of the time for Q&A, so you'll be able to ask me all the questions that you have. Hopefully we'll give you some answers. Before we get going, just want to make a big disclaimer saying that I am not a lawyer. I'm not a licensed lawyer. I'm not your lawyer. SoloSuit isn't a law firm. We don't provide legal advice. This webinar doesn't replace the advice of an attorney, etc. I say these things because of regulations, and practice of law is highly regulated field. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into things. All right. So, alrighty, some of the basic ideas that you want to keep in mind is that things kind of progress along these lines, right? So you get a complaint. All right, a lot of you guys are here probably because you received a complaint on your doorstep or in the mail. Someone handed it to you, something like that. There's usually a summons with the complaint. All right, the complaint tells you that you're being sued for debt. The summons tells you why you're being sued. These go by different names depending on where you are. You might be called a warrant in debt, might be called a petition and a citation, something along those lines. Okay. So then, once you receive the complaint and summons, you need to file an answer document in court. It's a capital A answer document, all right? This isn't just like a regular form. It's not like a little note you can hand draw and send it into the court. It's a formal legal document. It's got to be formatted properly. You got to respond to the complaint appropriately, and then you got to file it in court and mail a copy to the opposing party, to the plaintiff's attorney. You have to do that all by the deadline. Otherwise, you automatically will lose your lawsuit by default judgment. All right, most people come to us for an answer document. That's why most people come to SoloSuit. We make it real easy to get an answer document filed ASAP. Okay. So then once you file an answer, what most people are going to want to do is they're going to want to settle. Because a lot of people, if you legitimately owe a portion of the debt, probably the best way to get that wrapped up is to settle it. So if you're being sued for $10,000, you could settle. You could offer to settle for like $4,000. Maybe the collector will accept that, just to wrap up the full amount of the debt. All right. And we have another product called SoloSettle. Alrighty. So you can use SoloSettle, make an offer to settle, and even get all the payments wrapped up and everything for your lawsuit. All right. And sometimes, if you are in a credit card debt lawsuit and you don't owe the debt, then you might want to do our motion to compel arbitration to get the lawsuit pushed out of court into arbitration. All right, and then one more thing. Right now we're offering SoloSettle Premium. All right, we might not always be offering that. It's a huge opportunity you can jump on. Really the best way to just get your whole lawsuit wrapped up. So once you file an answer, you can sign up for SoloSettle Premium. Hannah at SoloSuit, she's going to put the link into the chat. You can go over. You just fill out a few questions on our website, and then you'll make an upfront payment. And then we'll have a law firm represent you completely in your case. Like, they'll file any other documents for you, they'll show up at your hearings or at a trial for you, and they'll actively work to get the lawsuit settled for less. All right, and they're going to be able to get a better rate oftentimes than a consumer, because they've been doing this for 20 years plus. They have the connections, they know the people, and they can get you like the best rate on settlement. All right, so that's just a general idea, right? Of course, outcomes aren't guaranteed or anything. But yeah, there's the link in the chat. You can go over to solosuit.com/SoloSettle fill out the questions, and then once you're done, you'll click a link to make a payment up front to engage that law firm. All right, so those are the basics. If you guys have questions, just go ahead and put them into the chat, and then we can get going. All right, so whatever questions you have, whatever you want to know, just put it into the chat here, and then we will we'll respond. Alrighty, we got Jay, our man Jay. What's up? I used your service to answer the complaint. I can't be in court on the date. Would it be best to try to settle or try arbitration? Credit management is coming after me for $3,000. Wow. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Midland Credit Management sounds like who you're talking about. They're a big debt collector. I was just looking at a report. I think it was around, they recovered like $1.6 billion last year in the U.S. So they're a big collector, covering a lot of money for people. The best way to get this wrapped up, so you used our service to file an answer, the best way to wrap that up is to go over to SoloSuit.com, the link Hannah put in the chat, fill out that form, and then pay the upfront amount for SoloSuit Premium, and then we will actively get that settled on your behalf. That's like the best way to get that thing wrapped up. I wouldn't worry about doing an arbitration unless you don't owe the debt. If you don't owe the debt and they're like still trying to come after you, then arbitration can be a good way to up the ante and get the case dismissed. Otherwise, settlement's probably going to be the best option for you. Alrighty, what other questions do we have here? Michael, we got a quick question from Michael. If I pursue the paid standard option for approximately $50, will you be able to e-file an answer in Cook County, Illinois, as this is required here? I don't want to settle. Yep, we do e-filings in Illinois all the time. E-filings are required in all the courts across Illinois. We even have team members in Illinois, so we're very familiar with the state. Yep, so no problem getting that e-file. That's what we do for you in Illinois. There's usually a filing fee that we calculate for you that the court charges in Illinois, unfortunately. But we calculate that for you, make it easier to get the document filed. Also in Illinois, if you do the answer package premium, so if you like start an answer and then you select like the response to a lawsuit, then you select the premium option. We do have an attorney, partnering attorney that reviews the document and even does like a 15-minute phone consultation with you regarding your case. So those are good options there. And then if it's a credit card debt lawsuit, right, and you don't want to settle, or there's an arbitration clause in your contract, you can try filing a motion to compel arbitration. Tanya, what is the upfront amount for the premium? Hannah, if you wouldn't mind correcting me if I'm wrong, the prices are subject to change, but I believe right now the premium is $247, which is a deal compared to the price that you'd have to pay for an attorney to represent you during litigation. Oftentimes, a litigation attorney charges around $1,000 upfront, like retainer, maybe up to like $3,000 to get started on the case. All right. Maritza, howdy. What if the attorneys don't respond to the settlement letter? All right. Yeah, so you might have used our debt lawsuit settlement letter, it sounds like. It's a product that we actually rolled up into SoloSettle to get better results for people. If the attorney doesn't respond to the settlement letter and you haven't made an offer on SoloSettle yet, I'd recommend making an offer on SoloSettle. And then upgrading to the premium service so that we will actively get it settled for you. Other options, you can try calling them yourself. You can send another letter. Again, you can try emailing them. Usually the law firms are just kind of busy, and if you don't talk to them in the way that they are expecting you to talk to them, they might not respond. But if there's a hearing coming up and you have to show up in court, make sure you bring a copy of the settlement letter and show proof that you attempted to settle. Oftentimes judges like to see that, and that might be something that's helpful. All right. So just a quick note here, right? If you don't want to settle, right, that's gonna put you into like the MCA. Just following up on that last comment there. All right. Let's see. Steve Burton. I'm helping my mother with the lawsuit. We submitted the response and they filed a court date for early 2024. Okay. Should we wait until closer to that before submitting for arbitration? Generally speaking, you can like submit for arbitration kind of at any time in the lawsuit. Most of the time, like what's normal is you file a motion to compel arbitration right after filing an answer. So like if there's a lawyer representing you, they'd probably file a motion to compel arbitration right after filing an answer, like maybe like the next day. I'm not sure exactly what the benefit would be to waiting. Maybe you'd be waiting to see if like the case fizzles before then, but if there's not really anything that needs to happen before that trial, then you might as well try to file now and either go through arbitration or hope that they dismiss it after you up the cost of the collection. So usually this connection between the MCA and the answer, you usually file an answer first, then you file an MCA like right after that. All right, Target TD Bank. This is from I Am Bootser. Target is suing me. That's too bad. Very sorry to hear it. Will they be able to take my car? I'm a single mom of 2 with many doctor appointments. Okay. So depends on what they're suing you for. If Target is suing you for a credit card that is like from Target, then no, I don't really see a path to them like taking your car as a result of this. If you have a auto loan from TD Bank or like TD Auto, then yeah, they could end up taking your car kind of as in relation to this. Generally speaking, so let's say you're sued by Target for a Target credit card that's backed by someone, maybe it's backed by TD Bank. And then you lose, let's say like you don't respond, they'll file a default judgment against you, you automatically lose your case, and then they will file a writ of garnishment, right? So let's say, right, you got the complaint and summons. Let's say you don't respond. Then what happens next is they get a default judgment, which is a judgment means the case is over. It's a judgment, like a final ruling from the court. Default just means like it's a default loss. You lose by default. And then they will get a writ of garnishment against you, and they'll file some documents with your employer, and that'll let them collect up to 25% of your monthly income. So like a check for 25% of your income will go directly to them instead of to you. And they will also try to get a lien against your property. Not exactly sure, but I believe they can get a lien against your car. Usually it's against a house. So like if you have a house and they have a lien for $10,000, and when you sell that house, $10,000 from that sale will go directly to the collector instead of to you. I think it can operate the same way with a car, although I'm not entirely sure. And that is like a way that maybe they'd get to your car. But again, so that's not really a direct way, right? It only happens if you sold the car. If it's an auto loan, however, yeah, they're probably going to try to repossess the vehicle. And then after they repossess the vehicle, they still sue people for the difference between the sale value of the car and the total amount of the debt or the loan, right? So like you might have gotten a vehicle loan for $10,000. They take the car, they repossess it, then they sell it for only $5,000. They'll still sue you for that $5,000 difference, right? And that is like a pretty common thing, unfortunately. Auto loan debt is really high right now in the US, and a lot of people are victimized by subprime auto loans, where that's kind of like their business model is to do that kind of thing. All right. Michael, with premium, can the result be $0 owed? I won't settle. Yeah, the result can be $0 owed, right? So let's say again, you just file an answer. Let's say you don't even do an MCA. All right, let's just bring this out and down here. So you file an answer, you don't want to settle. Then what can happen next? So oftentimes, I was just looking at the numbers earlier today. I believe based on one research report that we've done on our own data, about 25% of cases get dismissed just by filing an answer. Maybe that doesn't sound like a lot, but maybe it does sound like a lot. It is a lot. It's a significantly high number. So if you get sued for debt, use SoloSuit to respond, file an answer. 25% of the time, the case just gets dismissed. Pretty mind-blowing to people who are in this industry that there's such a high dismissal rate. That's because oftentimes the collector can't prove that you owe the debt. Oftentimes the person doesn't owe the debt, so the case might just get dismissed. And that would mean that you would end up owing $0, right? So if the case is dismissed, it pretty much is just a win for you. Usually what happens is the plaintiff files a motion to dismiss their own case, and then the judge grants it, and then the case is over, and you don't owe any money. Sometimes they can still try to collect on you for the debt outside of court. Sometimes they can bring another lawsuit if it's dismissed without prejudice. All right. Back to Michael. It is Absolute Investments, and it was originally for U.S. credit card, just FYI. Yeah, cool. Yep, that sounds good. Good to know. All right. TH. I'm in NYC. If I lose, I'll owe $853. It's dragged on since 2019. Should I fight or settle? I think it's past statute of limitations. Let's just look it up real quick. We have a handy statute of limitations calculator for SoloSuit. If you like Google statute of limitations SoloSuit, you'll find it. So I'm just going to let me do this, and I'll share my screen with everybody. Yep, so here we go, statute of limitations calculator. So you just plug in New York. Sounds like this is probably a credit card debt for $853. I'm not sure. And basically what you do is you just plug in the last date that you made a payment. If let's say you're saying it dragged on since 2019, let's say you made a payment in like January 1st, 2019. Click the calculate button here. This is the main thing we're looking for here. So the statute of limitations for credit card debt in New York is 3 years. Yeah, so statute of limitations has expired if you made a payment in 2019. So if the last time you made a payment in 2019, then yeah, it's probably expired because it'll only last for 3 years. All right, so usually statute of limitations expires or starts running after from the date that you last made a payment. So generally speaking, to get a case dismissed on to win a case on the statute of limitations, what happens is you get the complaint and summons, right? Get the complaint and summons, and then you file the answer, and then hopefully the case gets dismissed because you bring up, in the answer, you bring up the statute of limitations defense, right? So you have to click the right button on our website, we'll make it pretty easy. And then we'll bring up the statute of limitations defense in the answer for you. And if you don't file an answer, then no one will care that the statute of limitations has expired, right? You have to file an answer to win. And then it'll either get dismissed or you go to you go to a hearing, and that's kind of like a trial. And you say, it's like you, the judge, and the plaintiff's lawyer, and you say, hey, judge, statute of limitations expired. This is the day I made a payment. Statute of limitations is this in New York, like you know. Case should be dismissed. I should win. That's the general idea. If the statute of limitations hasn't passed, yeah, settling is probably a good move. All right. Arusha, how long do you suggest we wait from submitting your answer to try and settle? Do they typically respond after the answer? Yeah. So once I file an answer, I would go immediately and settle. So for me, I'd fill out an answer document on our website, and then right after that, I would go and fill out SoloSettle, and then I'd make an offer to settle. That's what I would do. You want to file after an answer. You want to settle after an answer because that's when you have the highest leverage. If you wait too long, they might file like another document in the case, and then you have to respond to that before you really get leverage back to settle. All right. Moving on to Steve. Is this effective for any non-secured debt? Credit card or daily advance high interest commercial loans? Yeah, people use SoloSuit primarily for unsecured credit or unsecured debt. So that includes like credit card debt, medical debt, primarily. But sometimes people also use this for student loans, mortgages, auto loans, etc. And also with the unsecured debt, yeah, usually personal loans. So our top two categories are actually credit card debt, personal loans, and then after that's like medical debt. So yep, you can use this for any of those things that you're mentioning here. You mentioned a commercial loan. If you're a business, if the defendant is a business, depending on the state, you might need an attorney to represent you in court. Some states legally require businesses to have attorneys in their in a case. So again, if you're a business, you need an attorney oftentimes. Not always. Yeah, we had like a business settle the other day on SoloSettle, settling like a business debt, and that works sometimes. All right. Moving on to Trisha. Trisha, I'm being sued for money owed. I went online to SoloSuit and began to fill out the required boxes. And it's asking for the name of the lawyer and their office. No lawyer, just plaintiff filed. Interesting, yeah. If you're filling out an answer document, and also if you're doing a SoloSettle, basically the idea is the same. If there is no lawyer listed, then you just list the plaintiff again, basically. You just enter the info for the plaintiff. Usually what we're looking for, it's usually in like the top left corner of the answer document, and that will have like the party of who's filing. If it's a business, they might be representing themselves, right? Like it might be like Midland Funding representing themselves. You just put in the Midland Funding info again. But usually if it is a business, there'll usually be a lawyer within the business that you'll want to put down for like the lawyer's name. Also, if you're confused about it, you can do the premium service for the answer, and we'll have an attorney review the document for you and let you know if any changes need to be made. All right. Michael, court hearing. Is it too late to pursue? So the court date is June 22nd. On our site it says it takes between like 1 to 8 days to file. Honestly, like a standard e-filing right now is the fastest. Right, so if you do a standard and then you do e-file, good chance we'll be able to file that for you within 1 day. Even if you do a premium, might be within like just a little bit over 24 hours. That will get that filed for you. So I think you have plenty of time. to get that filed. Also, in Illinois, we help you do the notice of appearance, which is required in all courts, I believe, in Illinois. We get that taken care of for you with the paid packages. All right, scrolling on here, looking on, Brian, seems like it would be worth it for them to settle when you are being sued. Can the amount balloon up due to lawyer fees if it's a prolonged battle in court and it never settles? Yeah, so when you're being sued, I think you're asking a couple questions here, but the main one is lawyer fees. So usually what happens with lawyer fees is, so you're sued for the debt. Let's say the debt is $1,000, like the principal, then they'll usually add on interest on top of that. So let's say that gets you up to $2,000. And then usually the plaintiff will add on lawyer fees or attorney fees, and that might be like $300 to $500. So now all of a sudden you're being sued for like $2,500. Usually the defendant tries to start off with a settlement stance of forgetting about the lawyer fees and just starting with the principal plus interest. But the plaintiff wants to sue you for the lawyer fees and get paid for those. If you don't respond, they'll definitely win the lawyer fees by default judgment. And then they'll try to garnish you and collect all of the fees. That's one big reason why you want to respond. And then how it normally works is that the loser, and this is just in like lawsuits generally, not always, but generally, loser pays for the lawyer fees. Alright, so if you're being sued and the lawyer and the other side pays like $500, and the plaintiff pays like $500 to a lawyer for the lawyer to file the case, then you lose the lawsuit, then you'll have to pay for the fees. If you win the lawsuit, then you won't have to pay for the lawyer fees. And yeah, it can balloon up every time. Like another document has to be filed, that'll increase the lawyer fees. If they have to show up at trial, that'll increase the lawyer fees, etc. Some states, it really varies from like area to area. Sometimes there's a cap on lawyer fees. So that's the thing to consider sometimes. All right. I am Bootser. Can they garnish child support? Hannah, I think we have some articles on that. I never remember exactly the answer there. I think it varies from state to state. I believe that they can in some ways. I mean, some states will allow them to like garnish your bank account directly rather than your wages. In that case, I think that they'd probably be able to get child support. But I'm sure sometimes I think that sometimes they can't. But something to keep in mind here is that, you know, if you make income in the future and let's say you lose the lawsuit, the judgment's good for 10 years and it's usually infinitely renewable. That's a pretty key idea here. So judgments are renewable. Not always, but usually they last for about 10 years. People can kind of infinitely renew them, so that if you make money any point in time in the future, they'll be able to collect on those wages, even if they can't collect on the child support right now. All right. Adam, I got a collections letter. And then we're about at time here, so I'm just going to try to go rapid fire. I got a collections letter for an ambulance ride from 7 years ago. They think I live in New York, where statute of limitations is 6. Should I send the debt verification letter request or take a different approach? Yeah, if you got a collections letter, then a debt validation letter is usually a good way to go. If you want to settle, you can make an offer to settle. You can try using SoloSettle, even though it's mostly made for debt lawsuits. But you can certainly try to make a settlement offer. You know, the debt probably isn't too high. Maybe it's like a few $100s, maybe it's a few thousand, I'm not sure. Yeah, you can try settling, or if you don't want to settle, you can send a debt validation letter. And we have the debt validation letter on our site. You can generate it and then mail it out to them. Scrappy Coco, after 13 years, I'm now being sued for a debt. What should I do? The statute of limitations has expired. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know of anywhere that has a statute of limitations that's like over 13 years. That's a long time. So generally speaking, you just want to file an answer and assert the affirmative defense statute of limitations being expired to make it easy on our website, and then file that in court, and hopefully it gets dismissed. Crocs, hi, emailed you guys my signed FW001. Please let me know if you guys got it. I only have 15 days to submit my answer to California court. Yes, the best option here, Crocs, is to chat with us on our website, or probably just email us at support@solosuit.com. Our support team usually responds in about 2 hours on average, like 2 to 3 hours. So we'll let you know. And then Vinny is probably working on your case. And yeah, we deal with FW001 fee waivers frequently. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't get that taken care of for you. All right, and just wrapping up some of these questions from you guys here. Michael, is it best to deny all complaint entries? In this case, I would pursue the premium package. Yeah, so one of the main things the premium package does is it has an attorney review your complaint and against your answer to make sure that you've like denied or responded appropriately. Usually an attorney is just going to deny all. Might be a little bit more nuanced than that, but usually an attorney is going to deny all the allegations in the answer. But ultimately, right, it's up to you. Since we don't represent you, we're not your lawyer, it's up to you to decide how to do that. Adam H., the letter included disclaimers that they're required by New York to state the statute of limitations may have expired. I'd like to take advantage of them, thinking I'm there if possible. Yeah, maybe the lawsuit is supposed to be in New York anyways, right? If you got the debt while you're living in New York, it's possible the lawsuit should be there. Yeah, and if they didn't bring up the statute of limitations, but they should have, again, you can use that against them in some way. Maybe you have like a counterclaim that could get tricky, or just more leverage to settle. Steve, regarding my mom's lawsuit, what if she is not ready to pay a settlement right now? If settlement is reached, typically how quickly can payments due? So if you're doing the SoloSettle premium, so if you fill out SoloSettle form, and then you upgrade with the upfront payment, then in that situation we can arrange monthly payments for you, where, you know, let's say you don't have the full amount right now, you settle for $1,000, you could break it up as like $100 payments across 10 months or something like that. With regular SoloSettle, we can't do that for you. And usually collectors are going to want to get paid in about 30 days. If it's a lump sum payment. If it's monthly, then whatever. They don't care that much. All right. Thank you. Scrappy said thank you. Michael, great job. Thank you. Adam H, appreciate your answers. I'm Bootser. Thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. You're the reason that we do this. We're here to help you all. Sincerely hope that you win your case. And you can always know that SoloSuit is in your corner. We're here to help you guys out. All right. So thank you all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and hope we can help you get back on